Hello and welcome to my channel, On the Hook Crochet, where we talk about wearable crochet style. And today let's find out what's been on the hook. Well, I hope you've had a wonderful crafty week. You've been able to work on some things at your house. I have been working here on several items, but I wanted to show you a couple in particular and talk about a mistake that I've made and a couple other things as well. First, to remind you to take a look at the video from Monday because we're doing a giveaway for the brand new crochet surprise box. So we'll be revealing that on Monday and also selecting a winner. So if you place a comment on the video from Monday and use the keyword, then you'll be in the running for the crochet surprise box, which will be given away on Monday. So be sure to do that. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video, so if you haven't seen it, you can click on there, watch the video. You can enter a comment there with the keyword and you'll be in the running for the crochet surprise box. So don't forget to do that. I'll put a link at the end of this video. First of all, I want to tell you about what I'm wearing. If you are a regular here at On the Hook Crochet, you will know that I try to make lots and lots of sweaters. I love sweaters. They're my favorite thing to wear all year round. Now I'm going to stand up and show you this particular sweater, one of my very favorites, and I crocheted it from a very nice yarn. This is Malabrigo Rios. I am not sponsored by any of the companies that I mentioned in my videos except for Crochet Surprise. They're the only people that sponsor me. But I want to talk about nice yarns. It's one of the nicest I've worked with. This is the Malabrigo Rios Archangel color, and it is so beautiful and it's so soft. I'm just really excited about wearing it. I put it on, it just feels so good on. Now for this sweater, I want to step back and let you see it. It is not shaped along the side, although because I made it out of a very drapey, beautiful yarn, it actually falls very nicely. It's not stiff and doesn't stand out at the waist. It actually just kind of hugs right there. So I really like the way it fits. I did not put a ribbing around the bottom. I just started with half double crochet and I worked my way up from there. The sleeves are actually crocheted into the fabric, right to left. So when you finish the front, you've also finished the front of the sleeve. When you finish the back, you finish the back of the sleeve. So all you do then is sew it together and put your edgings on. Now I did do some ribbing around the bottom of the sleeves, and I'll show you that up close. This is the ribbing. It really looks nice, and the sleeves I did not decrease till I arrived right here toward the cuff, and then I decreased here, and then I made the cuffs after I sewed the sweater together. So this is what it looks like. The neckline is kind of spread out a little bit just to keep me cool in the wintertime. I don't want to be too hot up here unless it's really, really cold outside. And then what I'll do is I'll wear a turtleneck under it or something like that. So I'll turn around and show you the back. This is one of the nicest sweaters I own right now. I really like it. It was not difficult to make. So I just want to throw that out there to you. This is the Archangel sweater, and you can find it on my Etsy shop. So I make them out of different weights and different compositions and different stitches, and so I hope that you can find something useful in my Etsy shop where I have all my patterns out there. They are not sized. Again, I repeat, they are not sized patterns. If you are a very large person or a very small person or anywhere in between, you can use my recipe patterns to make any sweater in my Etsy shop. I don't have stitch counts in there. What I like for you to do is to create your own sweater that will fit you and your body shape, your body type, your tallness, your shortness, whatever it is that you find is difficult to do in other patterns. Whether you're sewing or whether you're creating a crochet or a knit pattern, it's difficult sometimes to size yourself to a pattern. You have to be just the right height and the width for a certain size, and I've never liked that because I'm very, very short through the torso, and I gain weight and lose weight all year round, back and forth. And when I want to make a sweater for winter, I need to make it to fit my body how it looks now for the winter time coming up, not for last year, 12 months ago. And sometimes when you make a pattern and you're either sewing or crocheting or knitting, you will find that if you make it to a certain size and you think you're a size 12 or 14 or 16 and you sew, crochet, or knit the whole item, whatever it is, you find that it doesn't fit. It's either too short here, the sleeves are too short, too long, the neck is too wide, it hangs off my shoulders, it's too wide or too narrow in the hips, and you find yourself spending money on yarn or fabric and not having a garment finished that actually fits you. So my focus is to provide recipes, and they're in detail as well, to make a garment that fits you. So that is my focus. Everybody who writes me says that they actually made a sweater that fit them, and that's the whole idea. Is there a lot of trying on, a lot of measuring, but this way you actually get a garment that will fit you. So that is my focus on my Etsy shop. You can there's a link down below. You can browse through it and see if there's something you might like to create. Today I'm talking about a new project that I made just this week, because when you crochet for little people, you don't have very many stitches to do. So the projects go much faster. If you're making for yourself, you're going to have hundreds of stitches, where you might just have 40 stitches for a little fella, and that is who I'm making this sweater for. And this is by Yarnspirations. It's a free pattern on the yarnspirations.com site, and the name of the pattern is Boys Fair Isle Pullover. When I saw this, I thought, well, this is a good way to just make a little pullover with not too much detail. Now, if you'll notice that the top, the yoke is made from a multicolored yarn, and I already looked it up. It is Red Heart Super Saver Fair Isle yarn, which I did not have and did not want to buy. I already had plenty of yarn, and what I really wanted to do was make it out of one color and just use the pattern for the pattern as it was. And he is a size 2, so that's the smallest size on this pattern. It took 2 balls of Basic Stitch, which you know that I bought last week. If you've been watching my channel, I bought several balls of Basic Stitch, which is a non-pilling line brand product, size 4, all acrylic, washable and dryable. And it seems to be ideal for little guys to wear, because mom can just throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer, and it's ready to wear again, and it doesn't pill. So I thought those are great attributes for this particular yarn, so I thought I would make 3 sweaters out of this. Now the first sweater is a size 2, like I said. I'm all done with it. This is how much yarn I had left from the second ball, so it took me 2 balls, which ended up being about maybe 280 or 90 yards for a size 2, and that is not in the directions, but I just found that out because I had plenty of yarn. I didn't have to worry about playing yarn chicken. But this is 157 yards on the skein, and this is how much I had left from skein number 2. So it really didn't take very much yarn at all. But again, this is a little guy, and he's not very big, so he's going to be taking much less yarn than his older brothers. So I started out with this one, and I want to show it to you. If you watch me on Instagram, you will have seen the progress on this just a little bit. I think I put 1 photo out there when I was working on it. It went so fast that I really didn't have to spend a lot of time on it. It may have taken me 6 hours, 7 hours to make this total, and I put it down several times and then picked it back up. So let me show you some detail on this. If you have a little person to make a sweater for, this is a good pattern. It's easy to understand, and it has a little bit of ribbing at the top, just 2 or 3 rows up here of ribbing, and that is front post, back post ribbing. Very easy compared to some of the ribbing I put in my recipes. They look more like knitting. This is more of a crocheted look. It's very pretty though. It's very pretty at the top. I like it. And then the whole body is done in a raglan fashion, top down, which is a very wonderful way to make a sweater. Now they do have stitch counts on here, and I did use the stitch counts because I'm making the pattern as they say, and it worked out just perfectly. Now it's made in the round, so on the back you're going to have a join line is what I call it, a join line. And if you can see it, it came all the way down to the bottom. This is where I joined my rounds, and because this is the way it was told to me in the pattern. I might do it a different way next time, but I might just follow the pattern again 2 more times and go ahead and get these made. The sleeves are very nicely done. They're decreased all along here, and then there's ribbing at the bottom, so they look like little regular sweater sleeves. And I just really like the way this looks. Here's the other sleeve. It actually matches because I use stitch counts, which I use in my pattern sometimes, but you determine the stitch counts, not me. But I made this right by the pattern, and this is how it came out. It's cute as it can be. Now, the thing about this, well, that was actually not the front, that was the back. Here's the front. And there is a difference here, front and back. But I don't find that the join line is distracting. It goes straight down. I made it right by the pattern, so it looks really nicely crocheted. Let me show you the inside of this. I have these made by a label shop, and they're just woven labels. You can type in what you want on the label, and they send you 50 or 100 for a reasonable price. This is one I had made for my grandsons. When I make them something crocheted or sewn, I say "Made for You with Love" by Gigi. Isn't that cute? And then I sew it into the garment, and I never sew it at the back of the neck. I always sew it on the inside of the side seam so that it doesn't irritate them. It doesn't get in their way. If they're wearing this just plain over a pair of jeans or something, then that label will be at the jean area, and there won't be anything there to scratch their little skin. So that's why I put that there. And if I make a hat, I always put the label like on the side instead of in the front or in the very back where it can irritate their skin. So just a little tip from Gigi right there. One more thing I want to say about this sweater. It is stiff as it can be. Now, I might wash it. I probably will. I'll probably wash it and put it in the dryer. I don't really want to, but I probably will in order to make it a little less stiff. Now, one reason I think it's stiff, it's made with a half double crochet stitch, and it's done with an H hook on a size 4 yarn. And to me, this is too small for size 4 yarn, but I used it because that's what it said, and the gauge was exactly right. It was perfectly fine, and this is not terribly stiff. You could actually wear it as it is, but I might wash it just to soften it up just a little bit. And I know y'all have told me to do that with, for example, if I make something out of Red Heart, it's always stiff and scratchy. Some of my subscribers will say if you wash that, it will soften it up quite a bit. So I'll probably do that and see how this does on the first sweater, and then if it works well, I'll do it for sweater number 2 and sweater number 3. Now, if you remember back on Monday, I believe it was, I was talking about making my girlfriend some Kimberly Cowell Sideways scarves, and I wanted to make them out of different colors of Malabrigo Rios. And yes, I made a mistake. I absolutely made a mistake. I was going by this Malabrigo Rios, which has the same number of yards on the hank, but I made this with 4 shells across, 4 stitch patterns, plus the windows at the side. So I made this, and it's actually 6 feet long. It is very, very long and beautiful and soft, and I really was going for this look. All right, and I also made a beret to go with that for myself. These are for me, but I wanted to copy this and not make it the beret necessarily, but I'm showing you the beret because I made the 6-foot scarf and the beret out of what I thought was 2 hanks of Malabrigo, but it was actually 3. I went back and looked, and I thought, oh no, I used 3 hanks to make this set. Now, if I'm just making the scarf, I would need 2 hanks to make this scarf. Now, before I figured that out, I had started one of the scarves, and this is how far I went with it. It has 4 stitch patterns across, just like my pink one, and the windows on the side. So it's 3 feet long. It's 3 feet long, and it took 1 hank to make it. I thought I could get a scarf out of 1 hank. Well, that wasn't going to happen because I made it wide. So when I ran out of yarn, I thought, well, I'm going to start another one, and I'll make it 3 patterns wide and see how far I get with that. So I started this one, and I use 3 patterns across plus the windows on the sides. So this is how it looks. It's really pretty. This is the Nimbus Gray, which I didn't think would be all that gorgeous, but it actually it's made from a tonal yarn. It's very, very beautiful. I like it. I probably wouldn't make myself one, but I would if that's the only yarn I had. I would be glad to wear this. This is really pretty, It's gray and gray and gray, different shades of gray. And I started this and I realized that I had used some of this ball, and it seemed like quite a bit to me, even though I'm just using 3 patterns across. Now I might be able to get that out of one hank, but I started thinking about how quickly I'm going to have to make these, and I don't want to be held up by waiting for yarn. So I went ahead and ordered one more hank of each one of those yarns. Now the gifts are costing $30 a piece plus time, but still not a deal breaker. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to use 4 patterns across, I think, for all of them, and just make them exactly like my pink one. I really like the looks of this one. It's so beautiful, and it's wide enough to, you know, fold over like that. It was going to be really pretty whenever I get finished with it. So I'm going to go ahead and use 2 hanks of yarn, and I should be able to make a 6-foot scarf out of 2 hanks of yarn. This is my new hank. I've got it balled up and it's ready to go. So I'll be working on that this week. Well, I'm going to leave that there. That's the progress I've made on my Christmas gifts for my little grandson and for my girlfriend. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's just a quick catch up with some crochet chat about Christmas gifts and where I am on my project. So I thought you might enjoy looking at that. And also that I made that pesky mistake. What I learned about this today was that I shouldn't assume that I have a good memory. I don't. 2 hanks, I can make this huge scarf and this beret. No, I had 3 hanks of that. And each hank has, and I'll tell you, 210 yards. So for this set, it took me 630 yards, probably, something like that, to make this. It's not a big set, though. It weighs quite a bit, and it's 3 hanks of yarn. So just wanted to go over that with you and not give you false information that you can make a beautiful 6-foot scarf out of 1 hank of yarn. That's not going to happen. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I plan to as well. And I want to mention too, Wednesday was Veterans Day, and I didn't hop on here. I was going to, but I was not around, and I wanted to say hello to all the veterans that I have that are my subscribers, and also veterans in families that belong to people who subscribe to my channel, and all the veterans everywhere in the United States and around the world. I appreciate your service. Thank you so much for keeping our country free and allowing us to have YouTube channels and be able to speak our mind and to have a wonderful country that we can move around freely in and enjoy our freedoms so much. We appreciate all the veterans, and happy Veterans Day to you and to your families as well. Well, it's Jeannie signing off for On the Hook Crochet. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me. And don't forget to join the community as well, because you will get a free Hug Me Cowl pattern when you sign up. So be sure to join the On the Hook community. And I will see you next time on Monday to find out what's on the hook.